Greetings everybody, let's get this thing started. Panda here, and today we'll be taking a look at the correlation between the Call of Cthulhu and Black Ops 3 Zombies in anticipation for the upcoming DLC 2 release. For those of you who don't know, DLC 2 will be taking us to the island of Pohnpei, the home of Cthulhu himself. So without further ado, let's slither into the dark world of Cthulhu. Call of Cthulhu is a short story depicting the tale of a man we assume to be H.P. Lovecraft, trying to piece together the dangerously mysterious research of his late uncle, Professor Engel. Upon receiving his dead uncle's belongings, he discovered a small, handcrafted Cthulhu statue and a manuscript telling us how the artist who made it came to creating the sculpture. So let's set the date on March 1st, the night of an unusual earthquake. This same night, our artist was suddenly afflicted with terrifying dreams of a gargantuan octopus-like beast lurking deep in the sea. When he woke from his slumber, he immediately carved his vision, creating the Cthulhu statue. Horrified, he visited Professor Engel seeking relief. He told him of his dreams with terrible vividness. A damp, cyclopean city of slimy green stone whose geometry was all wrong, with a ceaseless, half-mental call from underground. The man continued to have crazed dreams until March 23rd, when he began to slip deeper and deeper into delirium. On April 2nd, the man was suddenly completely cured without any explanation. Lovecraft found a second manuscript reading, "Vigilant arrives with helpless armed New Zealand yacht in tow. One survivor and a dead man found aboard. Tales of a desperate battle and deaths at sea. Rescued seaman refuses particulars of a strange experience. Odd idol found in his possession. Inquiry to follow." Again, the Cthulhu statue shows itself without any reason. Of course, Lovecraft invested this situation deeper. He was given the only piece of information from the incident, a manuscript. The story read as follows. Our sailor, Johansen, and his crew were traveling in a hurry to get to shore after a strange and powerful earthquake on March 23rd. The crew was confronted by a group of cult-like pirates who told them to turn back. When they refused, a fight ensued. Johansen and his crew emerged victorious. And of course, his curiosity was sparked. He had to know what the pirates were protecting. They sailed until they were met by a strange mass of land that jutted from the water. It was nothing like they had ever seen. Johansen described it as a coastline of mangled mud and ooze, whose geometry was definitely not of this earth. The crew scaled the highest point of the landmass when all of a sudden, the earth rumbled and opened. Emerged Cthulhu himself. The men began to helplessly flee the island. Only Johansen and one other man made it back onto the ship. They set off at high speed. Their journey was rough until a storm on April 2nd, when suddenly the seas and the earth itself seemed to return to peace. Now that completes the Call of Cthulhu overview. Now let's take a look at how the events in Call of Cthulhu could play into the DLC 2 Zombies map. First, let's start with the description of Relay. So, Relay is equivalent, guys, with Pohnpei. So they both describe the island as a damp, slimy stone land with an eerie soundtrack and strange geometry. He would say that the land looked like it was flat when it was actually slanted, and concave was convex, convex was concave. The geometry was all wrong. I'm really curious to see how Treyarch brings this into the map. From the leak image, I can say that they've already nailed the concept of the slimy green stone island, but how will they deal with the strange geometry? Is it something that they'll even touch at all? I mean, they can't make the map too weird, because I'm sure that they want the game to be playable and clean, but it would be dope to see them include some landscape that is trippy and unpredictable, maybe through the use of traps or in an underground portion of the map. The characters in Call of Cthulhu also mentioned half-mental, horrifying sounds coming from underground. I think this would be the perfect opportunity for Treyarch to bring back that creepy, eerie, skin-crawling feel that they used to have back in the World at War and Black Ops 1 days. I know a lot of people in the community lately have been not feeling the maps as much, not because of their playability, but just because of the feel alone. You know, I'm sure you guys have seen the then versus now posts. So I think this would be a really great opportunity to bring back that creepy, sitting at the edge of your seat feel. We need it. Honestly, we need it back. The next thing I want to talk about is the timeline. The first thing on that line was on March 1st. There was that strange earthquake that caused Relay, Pohnpei, and Cthulhu's tomb to rise from the bottom of the sea. Now let's think about the end of the Easter egg in Der Eisendrache. What happens? Richtofen and his motley crew somehow managed to blow up the moon. I don't know a ton about the science behind it, but just using some common sense, I would assume that that's gonna mess with the ocean. Everyone knows the moon has everything to do with the tides have to do with the moon. So with that, the destruction of the moon could have caused an imbalance in the world, shaking the earth and dislodging Relay from its resting place at the bottom of the floor, unearthing element 115, thus being the perfect catalyst for a zombies outbreak. That sounds like a perfect zombies map to me. Now, how about Cthulhu himself? We've seen Cthulhu statues in Shadows of Evil, we've seen references in Der Eisendrache, but what about Cthulhu? You know, I would love to see him actually incorporated into the map, you know, as a boss, or even like the Easter egg in Der Eisendrache, like that Apothecon, but I highly, highly doubt it. I'm sorry, Cthulhu, without I can tell you right now, would be too OP. So if I'm wrong and they put Cthulhu in there, I'll be shocked and happily surprised. There's some things regarding Takio and the spider boss that everyone has been hypothesizing about. But I'll save that for another video. I want to wrap this one up here, keep it short and concise and to the point. But on that note, I'm out of here. I appreciate any and all support on this video. I took a lot of time to do the research for this. I actually read the book. It was pretty good. When I get some free time, I actually want to take a look at some more of H.P. Lovecraft's short stories. He's a pretty creepy dude. But on that note, I'm out of here. I'm sending you guys good vibes. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Panda